Cool, and we are live on the Cymatics show with Nick from Icon. What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Dude, glad you made it here. I think you as a guest is going to be super interesting because we've had managers at this point, we've had artists and stuff, but now we get to hear about the artist factory, as I like to think about it. Icon, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a unique little role I have over there, and definitely like a unique and special place. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, you want to give a quick intro to like kind of what you've been doing over there, so the Cymatics audience has some context?
Yeah, for sure. So for anyone that's not familiar, Icon Collective is a music production school, and for sure in the last maybe like 4 or 5 years, like it's really grown and become pretty popular in the producer world. It's actually been around for like 12 years though.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
I think it's got like a lot of prestige to it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
well,
I think
once people really started popping, once the graduates, some of the graduates that have come out of the program really started like blowing up, that brought a lot of attention to the school.
A lot of credibility to it.
A lot of credibility, for sure.
I think that's some of the problem with some of the music schools out there is that like a lot of people don't respect them.
Yeah.
Like when you hear about just some random school, it's like some side music program and some random teachers teaching it. There's not much like, especially the prices that some of these like art schools and stuff charge. And it's kind of like, is this actually going to help? You know what I'm saying?
It's not cheap, But also I think one of the differences is that, we're also really like an artist development school. Like we really are, because there's that interesting space in the difference between being a producer for other people's music, like a behind the scenes producer, versus being a producer for your own music and being a producer and an artist, right? Which we're really on the artist side of things. So what that means is like there's probably some huge producers that have come out of other schools, but you don't know who they are because they're producing a Katy Perry record, and it's like their name isn't on it, right? Yeah. Whereas it's like pretty much most of the people that are coming to Icon really want to go out there and build a brand for themselves, and they want to tour and they want to like be the artist too. Yeah. So they get the recognition.
Some notable artists that came in Icon?
Yeah, well, Nightmare and Slander, 2 big ones, really doing cool stuff right now. Jaws, Keizo, Sullivan King, Sunburn. We had Bonnie and Clyde were just over here. So
you guys got the whole Prodigy squad.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone on Prodigy is here. Pretty much. The list really goes on. I think we have there's 5 or 6 artists that are all on Mousetrap. So like in that kind of cool techno space, IO and Black Gummy, Rinzin, Anakim, really cool like techno artists.
Do you so you saw all these people in the early stage before they even made it and stuff. Did you know like guys like Nightmare? Did you know that he was like, oh, he's gonna pop?
It's funny. Nightmare was always the one. Like people ask me that question all the time. Tyler was the one that it's like I heard his stuff while he was a student, and it was like you could just tell something. It was like there was just something different. I was like, I've never really heard shit like this before. It was like there was this angle and there was this certain kind of like this certain groove and swag and flavor to it that I was like, this is different. This is gonna be something for sure.
No, that's interesting.
But it's hard to tell. I mean, when when so many, it's like when Jaws came to Icon. When Sam came to Icon, he was trying to make dubstep. He was trying to be a fucking dubstep artist, right? And so it's like when you're in the program, you're still kind of figuring your shit out, right? You're kind of trying to find your groove and your sound. It was like when Sullivan King came to Icon, he was trying to be a progressive house artist at first. He's making while he was in the program, he was making very different music than what he eventually came to find. So sometimes I've been able to be like, oh yeah.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious now. You probably got random students now. Like you just don't know.
You just don't know. You don't know. And
there's some kid, that quiet kid in the corner, barely talking. All of a sudden he's
totally. And there's some kid right now that came in thinking with this idea about who he or she wanted to be as an artist, and they're in their first quarter, and they're learning all the skills, and they're in their second quarter, and but it's like by the time they get to that end, like what their idea and vision of who they want to be as an artist will probably be totally different, because it's like you learn so much about yourself in the program as well, right? You learn so much about yourself, and you learn a lot about what it actually means to be an artist. What our sort of philosophy is towards being an artist. We teach this.
And probably some of the mechanisms that make it work.
Yeah.
That projects work.
Yeah, yeah. And it goes so far beyond, like, there's the big part of it, obviously, is the technical skills. It's like how to use Ableton, how to use Logic, how to, you know, the sort of like math and science behind keys and mixing and all that shit. It's all like skills you have to have, but there's this other thing that you have to have, which is called being creative, you know, and really being an authentic artist, really expressing yourself in an authentic, vulnerable, unique way that nobody else is, that only you can. And that's a big like mental thing, right? Because it's so easy to listen to what other people are doing and be like, yo, that's dope, I want to do that. And like learn the math and science on how to do that. And that's cool, but at the end of the day, you're always going to be just kind of chasing a trend in a wave that's already there. You're never actually going to be at the front of it.
Yeah, set in one.
Yeah, so it's like, that's our big thing, is like really trying to get people to like pave their own path and really find their own thing, figure out, it's like, what is the thing that you can bring to the music industry that nobody else can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that I think a lot of people who chase sounds, you know what I'm saying, like chase a new sound, like all of a sudden this new genre pops up and they start chasing it, and you see like a couple years later they're making this thing and they're like hopping. It's almost like, it's not good. You almost got to sit in your lane, you know? Like for Excision to become Excision, you had to just sit there and you know, keep grinding it out. And I think too many people pander. It's almost like you see get-rich people kind of do this, like hopping on the new idea, all of a sudden.
Or like diet. I was going to say like a diet.
Keto,
what's the diet of the week?
It's like do the basics, you know what I'm saying? And like sticking to your, like you'll get there and develop that unique sound, but like stop hopping all over the place, you know?
Yeah, there's so much of it is like you just have to like stop caring about what people think. I think that's such a big part of it. It's like you kind of have to just stop giving a fuck. It's like, and that even means it's like stop caring if people don't like you, and also stop caring if people like you. Because so much of it, if you really dig deep into like the psychology of an artist, it's like a lot of people are seeking validation, right? Where it's like, I want to go do something great because I want to be recognized for it, right? I want to be praised. I want to be acknowledged. And it's just like, I think, a very natural human kind of thing to do, but it really fucks with you, you know?
Do you think a lot of artists have like almost like a chip on their shoulder who are coming up in a sense, who want to kind of prove it to everybody who's like that this thing's going to work? Or?
I think, that proving it shows up a lot. Shows up a lot. Like I need to prove to my parents, right, that I'm somebody, or that I can be successful, or I need to prove to my ex-girlfriend that broke up with me, you know, because I was a starving artist. Or there is a lot of proving that goes on. But I think, I don't know, man, I think it's kind of unhealthy. It's like you don't need to prove yourself to anybody.
Dude, I feel that way about Instagram. So I think Instagram's amazing. It's done wonders for Cymatics, like in the past 6 months, because me and Drew started going really hard at like, you know, IG and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's that weird, like, how many likes do you get? And, you know, kind of feeling like shit. You have to almost like be away from the outcome and not worry too much about it. I think people get post paralysis, for example, not put out content because they're worried about. I think people don't want to put out songs because they're too worried about what people think, even though they might have something that's absolutely incredible sitting on their desktop. Yeah.
Well, we talk a lot about the difference between like being focused on the process, being focused on the results. You know, a lot of people, like, we get stuck thinking about the result. Like, what are the numbers? How many plays am I getting? How many likes am I getting? Right. That's the result. But when that takes up too much of your focus, it's like you're living in the future. And you're focusing on the wrong thing. What you need to be focusing on is the process. What's my process, right? What am I doing every single day to make sure that I'm becoming better every single day, right? Like when you guys are focusing on the process, even like coming in here and doing this interview, it was like, okay, let's just get everything set up and just like focus for the next couple days on doing badass interviews.
Yeah.
And like that's it. Just focus on that. Don't worry about the plays. Don't worry about the likes and the views. They will come naturally when you're 100% engaged in the process and you're doing a really good job.
And the thing that people don't understand is that's the fun. If you're not having fun in the process, you're probably not, maybe you shouldn't be a producer.
Totally.
Like people are like kind of too beat up about where they are.
Totally.
And I'm like, dude, if you're making music, you should be having a ball. Me and Drew met up every single day for years, you know what I'm saying, just going in, but that was fun. Yeah. Even early days of Cymatics, it was fun. Even if we weren't making anything, it's still fun, the process.
For sure, man.
I think that's crucial.
For sure. And straight up, it is like, I'll be so bold to come out and say, it's like, yeah, if you're not loving it, then fucking quit and find something that you love.
That might be right for some people, you know, if I'm being honest.
Like, it's not always going to be easy. Not every day is going to be like sunshine and butterflies, but it's like, if every day is you bashing your head against the fucking keyboard and like hating it and like stressing out and like getting to the point of like, I mean, there's so much like mental health issues and shit. It's like, dude, if it's sucking you into that so bad, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Find something that's good for you. That's gonna
Help you.
lighten you up. You know? Yeah.
Is there certain things you've seen, like, or what are the certain things you've seen from the successful people coming out of Icon that you think are like, whether it be personality quirks, worth ethic? What are the types of things you think that the producers who really make it out and crush it, like, what things do they have in common?
Yeah, definitely. I think the number one is like work ethic, just like grinding, like working their ass off, you know what I mean? Putting in time, putting in hours, because they love the process. Because they were like, this shit is so fun. I can't put my computer down, you know?
Hey, that was Kyle. His ass was late.
Because he was
he's like, I'm making a banger. I'm like, Kyle, get over here. I'm on a schedule, man.
Hold on, I can't. He can't stop, you know? And so that's a big one for sure. I mean, I remember, you know, Mac J was the first guy to come out of Icon to really blow up on like the international level. And that dude was there when we would open. It's like when I would come in, he would have already been there for an hour. And then when I would leave, he would still be there. You know, he was there for like 12, 14 hours a day. That's and it just like in the corner with his headphones on, just grinding and doing it. Yeah. So that's a part of it. I think, again, like having a vision, like he knew, like this is, like knew where I'm going, where he was going. He's like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going. Had a very clear vision of it. And of course, like just belief. I had a really good talk with Gesture, this guy, Jim. He's a really cool artist, like super cool dude. And we're just talking about, what is it? What is it that makes people, the difference between, there's so many people that are so skilled, right? They have the technical ability, the music is amazing, and they're really, really good producers, really good artists, but like they don't succeed. And then there's other people that are like, might not even be that great technically of a producer or of an artist, but like they go out and they crush it. And I think so much of that just boils down to belief. You know, it's like there's people that just, you really got to believe in yourself.
Well, because you start to see different things when you believe in something, right? It's kind of like, there's that thing, I think Tony Robbins talks about, reticular activation system. Have you heard of that? RAS? It's like, if you get, all of a sudden you get a Honda Accord, you'll start seeing that same Honda Accord everywhere. Right? And it's that your brain picks up on patterns and similarity. So like when you believe in something, your brain starts to see all the different patterns and ways that it's going to work. You'll start to see like, oh, I can do this, this, and this. But then if you don't believe in something, your brain will see all the ways that it isn't going to work.
All the reasons of why it's not going to work.
Yeah, dude, people come up to me, especially like entrepreneurs, I want advice and stuff, and they're constantly like, yeah, but like, what about this? But I'm like, dude, but what about the shit working? Try it. You know what I'm saying? Stop.
Focus on the solution and not on the problem so much. So I think that belief, it's like, you know, all those dudes really have believed in themselves. Social media was a big part too. I feel like most of them figured out like the social media thing, you know, and it's funny looking back. It was like,
I think that's a big factor these days.
It is. I mean, it always is, and it was back in 2012, 2013. It was different. It looked totally different. You know, you used to, like Facebook used to be like the shit. You know,
we used to crush it on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, times have changed, but figuring out, I mean, that's just marketing. Like, how are you going to use the social media tools to connect with fans? And I think really looking at everybody that has gone on to succeed have figured out their thing on that. And then there was one other thing I was going to say. I don't remember what that was.
Dude, well, that social thing, the thing that I think is really important right now is that, you know, it's now important to also know how to like understanding how this shit works and understanding how to make videos that work, you know what I'm saying? Because like at the end of the day, I don't believe that just a picture in front of a crowd is going to be a great Instagram page. Because if you look at some of the biggest people, even Cardi B, she's just talking, you know what I'm saying, just putting up shit, and a lot of like good artists you see will even do goofy stuff. But then some of the people who think it's like all about artsy poses looking up, I'm like, dude, your Instagram or social is essentially a place where you can post content, and your content becomes a gateway drug to your music. You know what I'm saying?
I think so much of it requires creativity, and I talk about this a lot, about how as an artist you consider yourself a creative person, right? Like obviously creativity is like the fuel that you're putting into your music, right? But it's not just. It's like that's not where the creativity ends. Like, yeah, you got to be super creative and you got to make music, right? And most artists just see that as being the one thing that they need to be creative in, and then they look at the business as being like really dry and boring and non-creative. And it's like, no, you got that twisted. It's the same energy. The same energy that you put into the same creative energy that you're using to make your music is the same creative energy you have to tap into to create your brand. It's the same creative energy that you got to tap into to put into your marketing also. Dude. It's all creativity, the whole fucking thing. I think that perspective just changes the game.
That is like the truest thing ever. And I see that more than ever because I started like back in the day. The first thing I took serious, like I did with music, was actually video games. Mm-hmm. So I went to like tournaments. I would travel around and play Smash Bros. All that. I was in top 0.1% in StarCraft in the world, and I was like applying for teams and stuff. But it was constantly a battle of like, so Smash has two things, right? It has your technical skills, learning all the buttons and all that shit, and then it has mind games. Yeah. Right? So, but the reason it's crazy is that music has the same thing. Technical skills, learning the DAW, sound design, mixing, and then the creativity side. Yeah. And the cool part was that I made the correlation between like, oh, making music is kind of like doing this shit, you know what I'm saying? And then I made the correlation again to like, wait, running a company is kind of like making songs. Yeah. Instead of automating like, a volume knob or a filter or something, I'm automating like, let's say, video editing. Yeah. This task here. Except the reason I really like, I think 2019 and how even music projects or companies are built, it's like we're all playing the same game. Mm-hmm. We have different products, but we all like are creative on social. Mm-hmm. We do different like interesting things. Yeah. But like if you can approach marketing and business in that creative manner, I think that's when it turns into a lot of fun, and you realize that you're creating just like you're making songs.
For sure, and an interesting parallel there as well is that. Also like that whole idea of building a team and kind of delegating along the way as you grow. It's like obviously if you look at, I'm sure, with the company now, it's like you have how many people that are a part of it, to make all the content, to get the packs out, to do all that. Like you got a team now, but it probably started with just you, just you and Drew. That was
back of a grocery store.
Exactly. two people, and that's it. Like in the beginning, yes, as artists, it's like you got to do it all yourself, you know, in the beginning. But there is that when it comes to scaling, like you got to start building that team too, finding other people. Like no company is going to be run successfully just by one person.
There was certain artist things I thought was bad habits actually that comes from the artist mentality. So like for a song, sometimes you're tweaking little bits here and there until it's perfect. You're spending a lot of time on like a kick or something, right? Yeah. But then sometimes when it comes to like managing your whole project, marketing, and all this stuff, you have to ignore that stuff because you get caught up in the details. You're going to miss the bigger picture. Do you see what I'm saying? So like for me, it was a big. Okay, for me to realistically, like we have 40, 50 plus people working with us now, between full-time and freelancers, but to make all that happen, you have to say like, I can't.
You can't micromanage every single little detail.
I can't worry about my, some little small detail because I'm going to miss this whole thing. Totally. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a big thing too, is that, artists oftentimes, especially like the kind of bedroom producer, like, yes, you can do everything by yourself. Like you have the tools in your toolbox to do everything. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the biggest songs in the world, there were so many people involved in making those songs, you know what I mean? It was like one person did the drum programming. There was probably 3 different producers, like 4 songwriters, an artist, like a mixing engineer, a vocal engineer. Like you might have like 8 people or 10 people that
huge distribution networks.
And that's why that's why those songs are on the radio. That's why those songs are like that fucking good, is because people kind of, realize like, hey, I can actually get further, with other people. Which is hard. It's hard. I think it's like an ego thing. It's hard for some producers to let go of like, oh, I have to do everything by myself. And it's like, no, if you're really good at this and someone else is really good at that, like work together, collaborate.
100%. Also, I think that in the producer world, there's a lot of like, at least I would say, and especially like the bedroom producers who haven't kind of made it yet, they believe in a very like lottery ticket kind of way. Like this next track, everything the next track's going to be.
This is going to be the one.
It's going to get on all the big blogs. Like, and in their head, they're visualizing. I think it's nothing wrong visualizing that, but like, what's wrong with getting 4,000 plays, 1,000 plays on your first song, collecting 30 fans, and then building on that one? I think everybody's swinging for the fucking fences. Yeah. And we talked about in the last episode, our last guest was talking about base hits. There's nothing wrong with having a good batting average, you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of the newer guys are just expecting like grand slams and saving their songs for these grand slams. Yeah. And what we've seen is some of the most successful people are just pumping shit out there, non-stopping, getting that momentum and building on each release, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's complicated, man. It's a very complicated mechanism.
There's a lot of different ways to get there too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Bonnie and Clyde, Daniel was talking about essentially like playing shows, you know, just hustling the show game, not even going online first, just more like trying to get in there, start making some money and stuff, and that worked for them.
For sure. Building a fan base that way.
Yeah. It's different. You got to be a bit of a salesman, honestly.
Yeah. plenty of examples. I mean, you can be really building your brand, you know, without even putting out any music.
Exactly.
You know, like it's possible for sure.
I mean, it's funny, like before Cymatics, you know, we put out songs, me and Drew had a hustle where we had a little project and stuff, but now we post little clips and we get 60,000 plays. It's like, cool. Like, we're not even artists, but we know we put out song stuff, it'll just get a shit ton of views and whatnot just because of brand, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think, in LA, do you think that it really helps to live here as an artist coming up, you think? Like connection-wise? Because we were talking about this earlier.
There's two different perspectives on that. It's like, it's not going to be the same for every person. It depends on who you are, right? LA obviously is great for networking. There's so many people out here. There's, you know, all the agencies, all the managers, the business is here. So yeah, that's huge. But at the same time, you know, it's like if you're really good at networking and like that can help you out a lot, right? At the same time, if you're not very disciplined, you can become one of those people that just goes out all the time and doesn't actually fucking do any work.
Get caught up in the lifestyle?
Yeah, like you get.
Do you see that happen a lot out here?
Yeah, dude. It's like, you know, there's so many people. It's like, you know, everybody. That's cool.
They think partying is work.
Yeah, but you're not making any fucking music. Like you're not, like your music isn't that great because you're spending all your time networking, right? Yeah. So I'm a big fan, and I'll advocate this sometimes. When people ask me, like from Icon, they're about to graduate, like, hey, should I stay in LA? And sometimes it's like that might be the right move for that person. But sometimes it's like, hey, like your mom will let you live at home for free, and you got a studio in the basement. I say go fucking lock yourself in there for the next year or two and make some incredible music, because we have this thing called the internet. You know what I mean? Like you can put it out, and like that's the most important thing. I mean, how many artists, like huge artists, are not from LA? Way more than live here. You know what I mean? It was like Tiesto is not from LA. You know, and like
plus, why does it make sense to essentially spend so much money on rent? Like can't even survive. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you're trading your what would be connections for being in LA, all this shit for like your time that you're working a day job.
For sure.
Versus like sitting in the basement.
That 40, 50 hours a week that you're spending to make ends meet could be money or time that's going into your music.
And you can always visit. Important. That's what we're doing. We're just visiting out here, come out here for 4 days.
For sure.
And get the podcast thing set up. Man, that sucks that people fall into that lifestyle, though. Even, what do you think about artists who actually start to get traction, start to make it? But then also, do you think that people get caught in the trap? Because it's kind of weird that, like, producers, and we've been talking about this on the show, that producers are these people who are, like, you know, getting really good at this technical program, but they're building to be a different occupation. It's like training to be a lawyer, and then all of a sudden they're putting you in a doctor position. But being a DJ,
being a touring artist,
is completely different than sitting on Ableton or FL Studio. Different. So, have you seen anything like where people kind of fall into that trap, or do you think it affects producers?
It's hard, man. That like life on the road, for sure. I mean, I haven't done it myself personally, and I have no desire to. But yeah, I mean, it's like there's not one like full touring artist that I've talked to that like doesn't struggle with being on the road or hasn't struggled at times, you know. I mean, we had a really cool panel at Icon a quarter or two ago. That it was basically like a mental health panel. It was on the Willie Joy back podcast. He came and hosted it, and it was like Flostradamus, Getter, Arye, and Blaze, who used to run Owsla, and they just wanted to come and talk about like the mental health of being an artist, and that was one of the things that I remember Floss talking about, was just the toll of being on the road, right? Like kind of like you're living in this alternate reality, right? Like
and
you go out there and like
break. Sometimes they don't get much of a break to like.
No, I mean obviously there's the physical side of like touring, you know, getting no sleep and you know, that's why people end up. It's like you're fucking running on fumes, so it's like go do a line and go drink some alcohol or go whatever. And it's like you're taking all these kind of crazy like drugs and supplements just to keep your body going.
It's gonna catch up to you.
Yeah, it's gonna catch up to you for sure. And you know, you have DJs that are like traveling, you know, so many days out of the year, and you're out for months at a time or whatever. So that shit will obviously add up. But just like the mental side of it too, it's like you just are completely living in a different world, and you know, like you're the man and you're the shit, but then at the end of the night you go back to the hotel room like and you're by yourself, and like the up and down, and then you come back home and it's like you're just back at your apartment after like on this huge high. And so that it kind of makes the lows even lower sometimes. So you really, you know, and this is the area that I'm like really passionate about and really like involved with now, is that sort of like mental health side of things as well, because like you have to keep that shit in line.
Yeah,
And
but
it's tough. It's tough for artists.
I mean, dude, I've heard the same thing. Like everybody I talk to, it's never like it's that easy. Like it's weird because you look at the Instagrams, and I think a lot of the producers in our community like fantasize like touring, playing shows because they see this giant picture. You know what I'm saying? With all these people adoring, they see the crazy video, but I'm like, dude, they literally are sleeping in airports like. Try to fall asleep in a chair. Like, literally, everybody watching this, take a nap in a fucking chair and tell me how. You know what I'm saying?
And it's a while before you get to that point that you're like you're in the private jet and you have like the nice car picking you up, taking you to the nice hotel room. Like there's this big gap between that happens where you're at like the fucking Motel 6 and you're sleeping in, you're sleeping in the chairs. It's like very different. You're riding like coach everywhere in the middle seat on 2 hours of sleep next to a fucking baby. It's like that there is that like super awesome rock star A-list kind of lifestyle where you are like it becomes a little bit more cushy, but there's a big chapter before that happens too.
A lot of people don't make it out of that chapter either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, dude, that's why honestly I really, really am thankful for what me and Drew have built because we're like just sitting at our house.
Yeah,
you know like we're talking. This is my work. You know what I'm saying? We're having a fun conversation that we'd have anyways.
For sure.
So much more lax and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a wild lifestyle, man. I mean, I managed for a while. I was managing artists for a while, and I just realized I'm like, this isn't what I want to do with my life. You know what I mean? Like it's like you got to be cut from a certain cloth to really like
festivals
survive out there. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely rough.
Yeah. A big thing for me, I realized like it was so fun working in the music industry, and like that was my goal of moving to LA was to work in the music industry, and I spent my entire 20s doing it, and I technically still do, but coming from working at record labels, working with as a manager with management companies, it all became about being like behind the scenes, and it was like, oh, let me get my wristband and go on stage, and it was just like schmooze and network, and I was just like, man, I forgot about why I love this shit in the first place, which was to be like on the dance floor. You know what I mean? Like to be out, like go to a festival just to go to the fucking festival.
No, I do that.
Enjoy it.
Dude, I do that too.
Like what a concept.
If we could do backstage, I don't want to watch the set.
Dude, it doesn't look as cool from back there. It looks way better, being out in the crowd.
I want to shove some people during the floss mosh pit.
Yeah, dude. And I think that's super important for artists also. It's like, cause you can get so lost in this other little bubble of like, oh, I'm the artist now. And now it's all about like the backstage and the networking and all that. And that's cool. Go do that. But it's like, at least like once a month, or at least like a couple, at least like if you're at that festival, like go out and get in the crowd and fucking dance and have fun.
Yeah.
It's like, I love Yultron. He's one of our guys, and I always see him. He's like, he like goes out and like gets in the crowd and like parties and dances, and I'm like, like stay connected with that.
100%.
So important.
Dude, Tomorrow World changed me and Drew's life.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude, we went to Tomorrow World in Georgia. When they brought it over here, we went all 3 years. But the first year, they didn't have everything set up very good, right? Because it was the first year doing it, so like secure, everything was just kind of loose.
Kind of a mess,
But it was fun because of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that completely changed. That sent us down like, oh, let's learn sound design. Let's try to get on main stage, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of like fired us up to be like, let's go do this.
That's the thing is, I think that's for the most part, for most people, that's where it all begins. It's like you go to your first rave, you take your first like pill, like whatever your experience is, you go and you experience the live thing, and you just have your life changed, and you go see an artist, you see an artist up there, and there's something that's like, I want to do that, right?
It's like, you're like, I want to be that guy.
Yeah. And what it is, it's because it triggered something emotionally in you, like it unlocked this portal to like an emotion that you've probably never felt, something really amazing. And then, so then you go and you start like, you go in the studio and you start grinding, you start making music. But what happens is oftentimes artists forget to like tap back into that emotion. Like why did you get into this in the first place?
They'll lose purpose a bit.
Yeah. Like you still gotta go back to that place where it all began.
I like what Gary Vee says, like clouds and dirt. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the balance of like the vision, like the clouds and stuff, but still like the dirt, humility, the work. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And even with me, if I get too caught up in doing the day to day without taking a step back and saying, all right, where are we going?
For sure.
I'll get burnt out.
For sure.
That is burnout to me.
For
is
sure.
when you lose that vision, and I think that sometimes when people get burnt out is because they're not taking a step back. Like, it's okay not to do work for a second, to think about the plan, the where you're going to be going with this. And then that will give you so much fucking energy that you're go right back into the dirt. You know what I'm saying?
And there's the vision, and there's also the purpose, like the why. Like, why are we really doing this in the first place? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And with artists, again, back to that idea of like, if why you're doing it is to like prove to the world how cool you are or why you're doing it is to like just like get chicks and pop bottles, it's like that's gonna be a very fucked up journey. You know, so like you got to find a better.
Let's
why.
be honest though, there's a lot of guys out there, guy producers, probably more than girl producers, who are just seeing it and like think like seeing, you know, big producers with girls partying.
Yeah. And that's, you know, we our admissions like procedure, like we actually deny like 60% of people that apply, and we're full. Yeah.
Damn.
But a lot of that decision is like, it's kind of based on sniffing that out. You know, it's like, are you here just because you want to be a fucking rock star DJ? It's like, that's not what it's about. We're about artists. We're about people that want to create art. We're about people that want to like really fully, authentically express themselves and
what's
add
some
value.
stuff you look for in applicants and whatnot?
I mean, we look for people, and I'm not in the admissions department, so I can't speak as eloquently on this topic, but it's like, it very much is like about character, you know. It's like it's about people that that are just aligned with like our sort of values and our mission, which is about the authentic expression of creativity and art. You know, it's not just about making money and making a career, you know, out of it. Like obviously that is a big part of it. We have an awesome music business program, and we want every single person that comes out of here to be able to do it full time and make money and make a living off of it. But it's like, you know, we're looking for people with just like that kind of hungry, right attitude. People that are gonna be super dedicated to the program because it's not easy. You know, people that are gonna like that have what it takes to make it through. Growth
mindset.
For sure.
That's
dude.
the biggest thing, man.
I love it. I just read. I don't know if you read that book, the Mindset. Yeah, the Psychology of Success.
Dude,
I just read that a couple months ago. That shit's a good one.
Dude, it's so interesting. Like some of the studies are talking about in the classroom when they're telling people like, hey, you know, you have to be born with this type of thing, and then watching how the results went down versus telling people it's how hard you train. You know what I'm saying? Because their mentality was way different.
For sure.
That's the number one thing I look for in hiring Cymatics. Is somebody growth mindset or not? Yeah. And I can sniff it out pretty quick. Yeah. There's certain little things you can see, like you'll see it like in their day-to-day activities, you know, like how are they thinking about this, you know what I'm saying? I put people through a gauntlet. Cool. Dude, back in the day when we first started, you had to work 2 weeks for free, and you had to come up every morning like 6 a.m., and you had to pound a book. Oh, wow. To go through it. Yeah. And that was way back. It was a gauntlet. And the funny thing,
you had to pound a what?
A book during that period. Like read a book.
Oh, okay.
Like just pound through it. And then the funny part is that we did that, and even though we'd pay them after that 2 weeks, a lot of times I'm seeing if like, are you doing this for the right reason? Yeah. Do you actually want to be here?
You really want to be here?
It's one of the best ways to like, kind of weed out people. But
I love that.
We got some really great people out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because we saw the true intentions.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. And I think that's such the big part of like the, you know, and back to that question about like what do the people have in common that like really go out and succeed. It's like so much of it is also just like the character, you know, like do you have the character to like really grind and put in the work and do it for the right reasons. And a lot of people quit, you know, it's like because it is hard. It's a challenging path. There's so many reasons like not to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there's so many other things you could be doing, and that there's that element of like perseverance that I think is super important.
Yeah, I think, if you're not putting in 80-hour work weeks or at least 60, you know what I'm saying, at the early stages, it's tough. And then you got to, it's crazy because you have to go on a roll almost, right? You have to kill the production side. Then you got to be smart enough to like kill the marketing side. Then you got to be smart enough to kind of present yourself in the way that'll, you know, lead you to luckier opportunities in the industry, and then keep that momentum going. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And, you know, and again, it's like in the beginning, that's something you have to do all yourself. But also if like, you know, if you're smart, you're going to find other people that can help you with those things if they're not like what you're the best at. But yeah, you should, by all means, should learn everything yourself too. Like learn graphic design, learn, you know, definitely on the business side, like you should, as an artist, totally understand the business. Like, don't just leave it to someone else to figure out. It's like that's the worst, man.
You're the owner of your company, right? Yeah. Don't fully turn it over to somebody else to run it for you.
They're like, not going to care about it like you do, you know? And then artists think that like they shouldn't have to worry about the marketing. I'm like, well, that's probably why you're not there yet. You know what I'm saying? You're not at the stage where you've established, you know, some of the best marketers or the best artists who are great at marketing run all their own shit. They're the people posting videos and doing all kinds of little things, staying engaged with their fans, you know?
Totally. It's not that, like it's not that hard, you know, like just like managing your
work,
own business. A lot of people think they need managers like right away, you know, and it's like, no, you can run this shit for a while yourself. It's like, get a manager when you can't do it yourself.
You can get
anymore.
to like 30K followers on all socials by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, definitely can. I would say even get bigger than that. You see guys who are building big fan bases now.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the people like that's interesting? Because I think the music industry is going in different directions now. So like this traditional artist path is starting to weirdly fuse with this influencer path. And the influencer like wave is like people who are great at creating media. They're great at marketing, great at social.
Totally.
And then there's producers who have taken that and they've done very like Sean Wasabi. Super interesting. Have you seen him? Oh, dude, he's this guy who does like.
I think I've seen him on Twitter before.
Asian guy, Twitter. He's huge on Twitter. He does a little MIDI videos. He'll like hook up to like goofy shit.
That's right. Yeah.
Building this huge following.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And crushing it with this like skill he has.
Doing something different.
Yeah, and then and because of that, I'm like, dude, when that dude starts doing shows or starts like, you don't think those 800,000 fans or a million fans across all his socials they're gonna fucking love it.
Totally. Yeah, we had Jake Udell in the other day. I don't know if you know Jake, he's the founder of Third Brain Management, and he like Cruella was like the first act that he really blew up, and then he was behind Zoo and Gallant and a bunch of artists outside of like electronic music too. I think he's the most like brilliant, genius entrepreneur marketer in the, you know.
Does he still manage Zoo and Gallant?
Not Zoo anymore. I think Gallant still.
I know.
But yeah, now he's doing crazy shit. He's like inventing like tech stuff now.
Shit.
Yeah, smart dude. Anyways, he brought up a really good point where he's like, it's even, it's like when people are coming up and talking about artists now, there's like not even mention of the music so much anymore. It's like, oh, like, did you see what they did? Did you see what's on, look, check this thing that they did on Instagram. Like, it's like, oh yeah, there's a song, right? But it's like, oh, look at all this other stuff. And it's like, the focus is on all the other stuff.
It's reality TV.
So much. Yeah.
It's a reality TV show now. That's like your brand.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it is what it is. It's just
you gotta play it. You gotta play the game.
It's just that's it. It's the reality right now. But I think at the end of the day, an artist's job is to make art, and it's like if you are down to like pour yourself into the other stuff, like the other branding and the creativity, or the branding and the marketing, and like really get creative, and that shit lights you up and you're excited about it. Like again, in the beginning you kind of have to do that yourself, but then for sure like find other people to help you with that stuff too. But it's like you have to do it. You can't really not do it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. So I kind of want to switch topics real quick and ask you this because I want to go there.
What?
You went to Burning Man.
Oh, I did.
Please tell me how that. Because so I love Tomorrowworld. Yeah. I'm kind of past the EDM festivals now.
Yeah.
And I looked at that place and it looks like fucking chaos.
It's wild.
What is it? Like I don't even know what it is. It's a middle. I wanted to take Jordan. I wanted to convince Jordan to come with me.
You guys should, man.
What is
Cymatics camp out there?
I don't know what it is though. Because it doesn't look like a music festival per se.
No, it's not. It's not a music festival.
Okay.
It's a spiritual vortex.
And Elon Musk goes there too. So I'm like, if Elon's going
dude,
there.
yeah. You never know who you're sitting next to out there. It's like 60 to 70,000 people that go out to the desert.
Shit.
So it's just a big empty plot of land. Like when you go, there's nothing there. It's like if you went there right now, it is literally
nothing.
Spotless desert. And then maybe about a month before it starts, people start coming out and building stuff. They start building like structures. We basically build a 70,000 person city. Yeah, but it's run. There's like, you have to get permits for like your plot of land. There's an area that like you can just show up and it's like a kind of open area, but then everything else is allocated. It's like you get plots of land.
Do you have to pay for a plot of land or something to go set up camp, or is there camping, or how's it work?
Yeah, it's a camping. So you can go out and like build your camp. So like on the highest level, people are literally building like wooden structures and building stuff. Yeah,
it sounds like what was it, Lost, or just something like you're on the island. Like,
it's wild, man. But dude, it's pretty fucking cool.
Is it worth going?
Yeah, for sure. The thing about Burning Man is it's obviously it's very popular now. You know, I had the privilege of going there for like 3 years in a row.
So you gone multiple times?
Yeah. I went there 3 years in a row, and it was cool. Had a cool camp I linked up with. But it's also there's a really strong culture around it. There's like these sort of like 10 commandments of Burning Man that that you really need to follow and that you should be familiar with. I don't have them memorized, but the big thing is it's all about contribution. It's all about like what are you bringing to the table, as opposed to a traditional music festival. You go buy a ticket and it's like, I'm here, entertain me. You know, I'm here to just fucking party and have fun. Whereas out there, everything is built and brought in by the attendees.
Is it like a barter system going on?
It's not really a system. There's this like culture of gifting, which is like just giving shit to people.
Dude, I gotta go to this.
Barter is like, I give you this and you give me this in return. Gifting is like, I'm just giving this to you because you're fucking awesome.
That's cool.
And so that's part of the culture. That's like the thing, that's part of the culture that like I think a lot of people, like you have a lot of like Instagram influencers that they're just going out there to take fucking selfies and get content and like party. And that's not what it's about, you know? It's like, what are you actually bringing to the table? You know, are you adding value? Are you, as an artist, are you a DJ and you're coming and you're playing DJ sets and like that's your gift, that's the thing that you're giving?
Do they have like water out there? Is it?
You got to bring your own water. Actually, no, they do have, you could have like the last time I had gone, they were doing like a water thing. I think it was the first year where like basically you have like a huge tank and like a truck would come and fill it up.
Well, because I'm just thinking like there's no
Dude, you're
water
out there for like 7-8 days in the fucking desert, like hot desert.
That's brutal.
You have to bring all your own food, all your own water. The only thing you can buy out there is ice and coffee.
Interesting.
That's it. Yeah.
That's a crazy.
Yeah.
Tell me the craziest story that's worthy of the show.
Oh man.
I know you have. I have crazy stories from Tomorrow World. You have to have something wild from Burning Man. You just walk and you see somebody chopping their arm off. No, I don't know. It's crazy like that.
I mean, dude, it's just like
somebody fall off a structure. There has to be something that happened.
It's wild.
One story for the audience.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
He doesn't want to tell it. He's got it in his head. He's like, I can't tell that one.
It's just so random. There's just so much weird random shit. I don't know, man. It's all a blur.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I'm gonna make an appearance one of these years.
Yeah. You got to do it right though. I'd say like get in with the camp, get in with people that have done it for a while and like they really understand what it's about.
Dude, I wouldn't even bring the right supplies. I would be
you need to be prepared, dude. Like you could die out there. I mean, you wouldn't die, but it's like you got to bring your own shit.
Let me tell you a crazy scenario I had at EDC Vegas.
Please.
So dude, first year at EDC Vegas, I get invited out with this guy who works with Insomniac and stuff, and it was a crazy experience. So we get out there. Have you been?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
yeah.
so you know how it's out there. It's not like in Vegas, they go driving out an hour.
Sure.
So we go there. He got his artist wristbands, me and a guy on our team. So we're hanging out, and it's cool because he gets us into like Pasquale's like a private little like area. You know what I'm saying? And we got the best view of the city. I got to meet Afrojack there, and that was pretty incredible.
Nice.
He came up and he was like, we shook hands. He's like, thanks so much for the samples. Guy sent him a bunch of stuff a while back. Cool. He's like, dude, you're about to hear like a lot of stuff. And we were hearing it on main stage.
Like, I know that sound. Yeah.
Like random pre-drop vocals or something.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But come time to leave. And there's a huge problem with festivals and actually exiting. So like, there's not many ways out of EDC
There's one
Vegas.
road, dude.
There's one road. And there's 50, 60, 80,000 people leaving this one road all at the same time when the festival ends. So I'm standing.
Been there.
I'm standing in the artist line for the buses, right?
Yeah,
but it's taking forever. Yeah. And I'm like, this is so dumb. And I'm like talking to my buddy Marlon.
Is this the end? This is like 6 a.m.?
I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to go home.
Sun's already up.
And I thought the artist side would at least have like a way to get us out of there. So I'm sitting there and I thought of this genius idea because it's an hour and we've just been in this line. I'm like, Marlon, this is not moving. I was like, bro, I got a great idea. We should go call an Uber in the front and we can just dip out quick and it'll be quicker. So I walk through EDC Vegas, so through the big stadium thing. I get to the other side, and then so the sun's coming back up, and then the gates close. So now it's miles back to the artist area, and I'm like, whatever. And I'm looking, I'm like, where's the front? And it's way down there. And I don't have sunscreen, and I'm like asking people because I burn like a crisp. We have no water.
Oh, man.
And I got like $100. I'll always put safety in my shoe.
Oh, okay.
Because I know that your phone dies.
Good move.
You know what I'm saying? So I call the Uber. And I'm like, great. I called the Uber. I'm walking. I finally see like I follow the signs for the Uber pickup. We get to the front, and there are 10,000 plus people waiting for an Uber.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, I made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening there. And I felt like I got into a situation where I'm like, okay, we got to get out of here. There's no way out.
Yeah.
There's one road, 10,000 people waiting.
Man.
People get trapped for hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like starting to get to a point where I'm like, shit, I got to do something. And I start hustling, walking around. I find these like abandoned buses, and I like convinced like the people like, yo, can we take this? I'll give you $100. Can we take this thing out? And finally I got somebody who like worked there who decided to take the bus and help offload people.
Yeah.
And I sneak onto this bus, and it feels like this shitty bus, like feels like a prison bus. Felt like a miracle. And I was so proud of this thing that we got it. We loaded it up with people and just dipped off, and I just passed out. But it ended up being an 8-hour journey to get home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that shit was wild.
I don't know. Have they figured that out? I haven't been in a while.
It's a logistical nightmare.
Like, have they figured it out by now yet?
I think so. The buses thing, I think that those were planned to help with that.
Yeah. When was this? What year was this?
2 years ago.
Okay, so they still haven't figured it out.
Think of logistically, how do you do it? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, it's like 110,000 people on pretty much one road. I mean, that's how Burning Man is, because it's like you're in the middle of nowhere. It is literally a like 2-lane road that goes into this whole place, and then you have 60,000 people trying to leave.
Like,
through this
logistic.
They call it Exodus, because it will take 7 hours
to get there,
to leave, just to like
just to go home,
just to get on like the freeway, like just to leave drive like a couple miles.
Run out of gas or something, you're toast,
dude. Yeah, you're just, it's wild. It sucks.
Can't take that. I got a Tesla, man. That thing's running out of gas. It's done for.
Yeah. Oh, you got that Tesla, dude?
Yeah, I got the Model S recently.
How do you like that?
Dude, it's the best car in the fucking world.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it seems like it.
Dude, so self-driving, I didn't think that was like...
Oh, they got the self-driving thing.
But I didn't know it was like really a thing. Like, I was kind of like, I heard about it and stuff,
yeah.
but now, I mean, dude, I play Pokemon. I flipped the switch, and like people are like videoing me.
Are you like sketched out at all?
I understand.
Do you feel like just totally safe and comfortable? Or
I understand when it's safe and when it's not safe.
Okay.
So let me explain this. A lot of people who are newbies to Teslas and don't know, they're like, oh, but this thing still... I'm like, dude, you don't know what's actually wrong with it. Highways, it's fucking good.
Yeah.
It works great. Like, I've never had any problems. I think the Tesla guy reported when I watched like a little press conference they had, there's never been an accident with a lane change on a Tesla.
Wow.
So it's good at changing its own lanes, stuff like that. Highway's great. Regular roads...
How does it change? Do you have to tell it to change your lane?
I just blinker. When I blinker, it goes.
No way.
And I sit there, I always like scare people too, because like the first thing I do...
Just pretend like you're asleep or something?
No, I act like
pretend like you're dead?
Dude, one time I'm taking off, like I had this like Cymatics hoodie and I'm trying to take it off. You know how taking off jackets in the car is hard?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm like taking it off and it's like completely over my head, and I'm like trying to pull it off, and I know the guy next to me has to be like, dude, what the fuck is this guy doing? Because Georgia, there's barely any Teslas. Like you don't see them like you see them here.
Yeah, they're everywhere here.
Yeah, self-driving is amazing, but on roads that like suburb roads or shit like that, it uses lines. So if the lines are weird, you gotta be careful, because it's not gonna know where to go.
Yeah.
And then it has had some situations where it'll just lane change like out of nowhere, like, and I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying?
Damn.
But I know that the highways are good, so you can kind of be more lax. But I mean, I still pay attention. But it's good.
That's wild, dude. That's wild that is even a thing.
Let me put it this way: way safer than me driving, because I look at my phone, I do all, you know what I'm saying? I get distracted.
That's true,
I'm daydreaming.
That's true.
The Tesla doesn't daydream or none of that shit. You know. But it's amazing. Me and Drew got one both. And
does it have like those like Easter eggs in it, like those little like hidden cool shit?
I use the fart machine on people.
There's
like there's a whoopee cushion you can set to whatever seat you want, and then I can set it to a button on my steering wheel.
No way.
It's like I fuck around and like I act like I fart, like I lift up and then I fucking press the press the whoopee cushion button.
It's just a toy for adults, basically.
Dude, they're putting. You ever seen that game Cuphead? Oh, it's like it's a really cool, like, you know, like it's kind of like an indie game or something. It's really like sweet, but they're putting games on the thing. Wow. Because the thing's becoming a media panel.
Yeah, like the big screen.
Yeah, it's because essentially, I mean, Elon Musk is talking about they're going to take away the steering wheels at a certain point.
No way.
Yeah, because what's the point if the car's driving better than whatever? And they're launching full self-driving where you don't have to do shit. Like now, I go to the highway, go to the main road, turn it on, but like full self-driving where it's just going to go fully from one destination to the next. You know.
Wow. We're in the future.
Yeah, that's when I show people, they're like,
here.
what?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're releasing that, and then they're releasing like an Uber thing for your Tesla, where like let's say your Tesla's just sitting there, you can say, hey, go Uber for a couple hours.
So you're not even in it.
You're not even in it, and it'll go make money for you.
What?
They said they're going to.
Would you do that? Would you trust?
No, I'm not letting somebody hop in my Tesla. I like my Tesla
for sure. I wouldn't want some random strangers in there.
But it's the decent. What if it's like an investment? You're like, get a Tesla, it'll make $100 a week for you.
Huh?
You pay for the whatever it is, you get a free Tesla.
So you have to pay to charge it.
So
how does that work? Is it just free charging stations?
I got it installed in my garage. It's like a supercharger. I don't know as good as a supercharger, but it's a charger.
Yeah.
It takes like 4 hours to charge.
But what about like out in the public? Is it like a gas station? Like you got to like swipe your card to charge up?
I got a Model S. It's free. In the Model 3s, you got to pay for it.
Okay.
But the superchargers are like fast ones, 30 minutes, and you're like halfway, which is a big deal because it's 300 miles to the battery.
I gotta get one of these,
dude. It boosts the when you step on the gas.
Oh, so like,
or step on the pedal.
Step on the electric.
Step on the electric. Okay, so a gas car has to go through 6 cylinders.
Yeah.
For it to get its 100% horsepower, right?
Yeah.
An electric car, the second you touch it, it's all there, and it feels like a roller coaster. Like people get shot back. There's like funny like reaction videos of people doing it.
Well, yeah, the owner of Icon has one, and so I've got to drive his.
Oh, really?
Which
cool. Kind? Model S?
It was like the original, like the first one that came out.
Yeah.
And so I got to drive that, hit that on the freeway. I was like, oh.
Dude, I was digging Daniel's little Porsche, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
It was baller. I was like,
his free Porsche?
Free Porsche? And I was like, he told that story on the podcast. I'm like, what?
Pretty sick.
I'm like, free Porsche? I'm sketch. You know, I was like, I'm going to do a little mini investigation.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Porsches, though, to be honest. Like,
I didn't know much about them, but when I got inside of it, it was cool.
Pretty cool.
You know?
I'm sure it's super fun to drive. I've never driven one.
Yeah, I'm sure like if you got one, you'd be more into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't really into Teslas at all or cars, and then I got the Tesla, and then I'm like reading patch notes, like doing all this different shit. Dude, it's funny. One of the most popular pictures that we posted recently, or Drew posted, it was so he just had a picture of him and his Tesla like chilling there, but the screen he put FL Studio, photoshopped it in, and dude, there was so many. We were just playing around, but so many people thought it was serious.
Yeah.
So, like some people were like, no way, that's real. Blah. I'm like,
beats.
Dude, it's fucking a joke, man. It's
cool.
But dude, it popped off. It got like 20K likes or something off just this picture of like Photoshop Tesla.
Hey man, I think FL Ableton, hit up Tesla, make it happen,
dude.
If you're listening.
And one of my most popular pictures, I took a Nintendo Switch and I just held it up and I photoshopped FL Studio inside of it. And people are like, "What? Is that real?" Like, dude, I don't know what it is about photoshopping FL Studio inside funny things. That makes people like, "This is genius." You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
I don't know. It's kind of funny.
That's funny.
Little shit like that works on social.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for us, dude, I'm like, it gets 250,000 impressions. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. You know?
How do you find your relationship, perhaps / addiction with social media? Because I think we all struggle with that a little bit. How is
100%, dude? Me and Drew joke about it. Like, like we'll see each other like refreshing notifications, and we're like, "What are you doing over there?" You know, like kind of fucking with each other. So it's weird because going into Instagram hard at first, you kind of get sucked in, and especially as an influencer account, it's more addicting than a regular account because the way the notifications pop and you're like checking your stats a lot. You know, so I think it's even worse. One thing is I try to not just scroll randomly per se.
The door's opening by itself.
It's been doing that the whole time. Hey Jordan, can you shut that door, by the way?
That was creepy.
No, it's been doing that the whole shaboodle. I would leave the windows and stuff open if it wasn't for some of the construction. What was I just talking about?
You're talking about influencer, like
the addiction,
checking notifications. Yeah.
So it's definitely a real thing. Things that I think are important. So it's even hard to say this. So like scrolling randomly. It sucks, right? Because you're wasting time. But that's where me and Drew learn all our shit of what's popping. Because essentially your news feed is like a direct eyeball on what every single person in every single industry that you want is up to and how they're promoting themselves.
I think that's really key.
Powerful.
I think that's key too. Is I would suggest this as a first step for all of us is to really curate who we're following. You know what I mean? It's
curating content is the best way to learn.
It's
post other people's shit. That's what I do.
Well, no, I mean, but what I mean is like almost like pruning who we're following, right? Like only follow the shit that's
role models.
Good role models, like stuff you're gonna learn from. Good people, you know. Like I follow way too many people. I follow way too many accounts. I follow way too much bullshit.
I'll mute if I don't like their content. Like I'll still follow them just in case, like keep the direct line open. Sometimes,
it's like I just see people like complaining so much about like social media or whatever, and it's like, dude, well, you're following all of these whatever these accounts are, whoever these people are that are bumming you out. So stop following them. There's so much.
There's a lot of negativity too.
There is. I had a really big insight the other day just about the power of social media, and it was such a positive. It was just like such a positive thing about like social media is great. It can be great if it's used the right way. You have the ability to reach so many people. If you have a good message or you have a good product, it's like it's fucking awesome, you know. And it gets demonized so much because I think it's like maybe it's just being used the wrong way by so many people.
But like for an average consumer who's not like building, let's say, a brand, then it becomes like, okay, you just spent 6 hours today doing this.
Because you're just downloading. It's like the difference between like either you're downloading information or you're uploading it, right?
But
most people are just downloading, and they're probably following a bunch of fucking garbage.
Yeah, but dude, the sad part is that like, what if this is just the direction that it's essentially what we're doing is we're digitizing ourselves.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we're now living in that thing. We're living in this thing more and more and more by the day.
For sure.
And then as soon as then it's just going to be glasses, and you're just going to be in a pod.
Yeah.
Right. But like the crazy part is that it's almost like, do you fight it, or is this just the direction we're going in? Because I don't see it slowing down, and it's getting crazier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's way crazier than MySpace days or even
Yeah.
early Facebook. Now it's like
It's interesting because then that makes me think about the power of music. It makes me think about in like music festivals in general, right? Where it's like that going out and experiencing music live gives you an opportunity to like connect with other people, like to like dance with other people, to like bump into other people, you know, like maybe that's why we love that shit so much is because we live on such these like isolated islands of like just digital information downloading that like when we have the chance to go out, it's like, oh my God, like look at all the humans.
Dude, you do like CrossFit. That's like a nice breather probably, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, fitness has always been a big part of my life for sure. And that's huge. I think like we got to move, you know, you got to move your body. You got it.
Is CrossFit worth it?
Oh yeah, dude, I love it. I drank the Kool-Aid, man. I'm super into it now.
So I want to. So I did my first triathlon sprint.
Oh wow, congrats! That's
just
sick.
because like I needed something that wasn't that was physically challenging, because I felt like honestly a lazy bat. Like I felt my mind kind of like giving up. Like my body couldn't conquer it a bit. So I was like, you know what? I literally just signed up for it. I said, let me do this. I had to swim a quarter mile. I had to run. How many miles was it running?
Was it like
You had to run a 5K, and then you had to bike like 12 miles.
Okay.
It was the beginner one, right? But I just had never done anything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm training, doing all this shit. But like, dude, that stuff, getting away and doing training and stuff, it's like the best, because when you come back to it, you're fresh. I didn't make it, by the way. The swim was a nightmare.
Oh, dude, that's
open water swim.
That's scary. I'm
Dude,
a horrible swimmer.
I knew 5 seconds, like 2 minutes into it, I'm like, what am I doing here?
Fuck.
I'm like in open water swimming, like you're hitting people and shit.
Yeah.
And like you look up and see how much is left, and you're like,
Oh man. Well, and that's the mental side of it. That's why like CrossFit is really cool, because it's such a mental challenge. I mean, that's honestly like, that's why I work out. Like, yeah, it's nice to be fit. I mean, that's part of it. It's really secondary. This goes back to the results, the process and the results. I love the fucking process. I love getting up at 5 a.m.
dude, same here,
Going to the fucking gym. I love sweating, grinding. I love feeling the fucking pain. And the result of that is like I get stronger, you know, fitter, healthier, look better, all that shit. You know, most people are focused on that. They want the results. And it's like, again, that's totally normal. But I think when you actually focus on that less and you just focus on the process, like let me focus on just like going to this class and following this routine and the consistency and that sort of self-discipline, that's when it all really starts to work, you know? But for me, all that shit is secondary. It's all about the mentality. It's all about pushing yourself to do something that sucks and that's like that makes you uncomfortable.
That's why I love physical stuff, because I'm
Yeah.
naturally pretty lazy,
Yeah.
and I have to I have to wake up early just to keep me like in these habits that really help me go.
Yeah.
But like naturally, I'm a pretty lazy person. So it's just through all these habits and stuff I built that help me. But like physical is one that I'm not that great at. Like I'm not in shape like you are, but I want to be. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's what I love, and I think like CrossFit is great. Like I've always been very self-disciplined. Like I would take myself to the gym and do my own programs, and never had a trainer, never had a workout partner, and never wanted one for the longest time. But I really love CrossFit because it is all like, it's already programmed. It's like all you got to do is show up.
Is it really? So
Yeah.
they have people that how does it work?
It's like you have training. You know, you have a coach it's a class, right? So it's like
It's hardcore.
You have a coach who's leading it, and then you have however many members are there with you, and you all go through this workout together. And it's like every day it's different.
But like it's intense. It's like
Yeah. It depends on where you go. You know, my first gym was a good introduction to it, and it was like a little bit less, like the programming was a little bit less intense, and I kind of outgrew that, and now I'm at a gym that's like pretty fucking,
dude, I need
pretty
to get on that
savage,
shit.
pretty hard.
Jordan, are you down? I need a partner for Alex.
Hey, what do you guys?
Alex is down. Like I did one of the.
What are you guys doing at 6 a.m. tomorrow? I'll take you to your first CrossFit class.
Really? I might do that. What time's our flight?
Plenty of time.
6 a.m.
Plenty of time.
If we don't have any late podcasts, I'm probably gonna take you up on it. I'm gonna be a bitch though. Like I'm gonna sweat, like need water.
Oh yeah.
I might just puke on your fucking floor if it's too hardcore.
Puking's acceptable. Yeah.
I've been getting into basketball a little bit too. That kind of is
for
that
sure.
release for me.
Dude, anything, man. Anything to get you moving. You know, like go hiking, like go take a fucking walk, like just get outside, right? That's a big one too. I'm trying to get outside
and
more.
writer's block too, man.
Yeah.
If you're like struggling, like dude, layer in some physical activity. Get outside the room, the computer, like get away from the screen for a minute. You know.
Yeah.
I think that shit is like so healthy for the brain.
It's totally necessary. Everyone has this like vitamin D deficiency, you know, just living in a cave, staring at a computer all day. It's not healthy.
No,
it's not.
You were talking about so you read the book Mindset. I mean, is there any other books you read that you would recommend or?
Yeah, man. What did
because you seem like the kind of guy who's like into books and stuff, and I do a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah, cool. I need to do audiobooks more. I like sitting down and reading though.
Actually reading.
That was a really good one for sure. Like, I mean, the biggest one that I always recommend, it was like the first like personal development book that really like changed my life, and the first one I ever read, but it really did change my life in a big way. I read it like right when I graduated college. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh yeah.
You read that? Stephen Covey.
I've read about half of it.
It's
definitely
amazing. That book took me multiple times to like go through. It was like I kept like I would read.
Is that the book talking about paradigms and shit?
Yeah.
That is a really good book.
Really good, man. It's just like profound.
Synergy, doesn't it talk about synergy too?
Profound wisdom, yeah.
I watched, it sounds silly. Sometimes I watch these like 30-minute book breakdowns with their animated stuff.
Oh, cool.
There was one about that.
Oh, that's cool.
There was one concept, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they were talking about synergy, how like, for example, if you and like, let's say there's a tree, we're trying to get some apples. And you're not tall enough to get the apples. I'm not tall enough to get the apples. So like, you know, so us alone is worth 0.
Yeah.
But if I stand on your shoulders, we get all the apples.
Totally.
So it's like 1 + 1 + 1 isn't 2
Yeah.
in this situation. When you collaborate and work with others, 1 + 1 could be worth 50.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
And I thought that was an interesting
Back
concept.
to that collaboration idea.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, also like I think a lot of producers, talking about collaborations and stuff, a lot of producers are thinking too much about themselves. When you send somebody a SoundCloud link or a demo, you're essentially asking like, come check out me and how awesome I am. Mm-hmm. What I recommend is do something for them. Figure out what they're up to, what those artists are doing, what's on their schedule, and how can you help provide them and contribute to their story in their head.
Yeah.
So much better. Like this.
Yeah.
I can't explain to you how many people love this because we are spotlighting the guest.
Yeah.
It's not about us. We send the emails to the 800,000 producers, all that about them. People fucking love it.
It's a nice little ego boost.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's awesome. But like for us, we're providing value. But like I'm approaching even at this level, not saying check out our shit, our stuff. I'm like, yo, can we help you out?
Yeah.
You have some cool stuff. Like I hope Icon gets
for sure
a bunch of applicants
that was,
for this.
Honestly, like that was a huge one. So I came up working at Capitol Records, and then I was like managing artists, and so I had like a 5 or 6 years of working in the music business, like the business, and was it's like the business mindset of like just normal business mindset is like, how can I get what I want? How can I get what I need to like to do my business, to do my job well? When I came to Icon, one of the co-owners, David, he like sat me down and he was basically like, hey, if you're gonna like kind of represent the company and work for us and be out there, doing business on our behalf, he's like, I want you to flip it around. He's like, I want you to approach every new relationship and situation from the perspective of what can I do for you? How can I add value? How can I help you? Mm-hmm. And that changed the game for me, like big time, dude. Just that mindset of like anytime you meet someone, it's like, hey, what's up? What are you all about? And like, how can I help? And it's just like, this like kind of unconditional giving. It's come back tenfold. In so many ways, it's like now I'm at the point now is like I have such like an awesome, strong, powerful network that like so many people totally go out of their way to help me with whatever I need, just because I've always been that kind of person that will help them, and like not even asking again, like it's not a barter thing. It's like, here's just the gift. Yeah,
dude, so I like to do a lot of consulting for artists. Like I'll help them out and like try to do some cool growth hacks or something to like help their project or boost them up in followers, give them a platform. Yeah. And we did a lot with the artist series early days with like Kyle. Like even recently we got some cool growth hacks coming, but like I definitely believe in that, man.
Yeah.
It's like, don't even worry about the return or even if you get it. I think if you do that enough, like, dude, the people will reciprocate,
For sure.
Even
guests. It all comes back.
Yeah, like people are like, yo, let me introduce you to X, this person, that person to get on the show, all this. Yeah. But just because I'm like providing value to them, you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
I think that's huge.
Yeah, it's great. And it feels good too. Like it feels good to know that you help somebody in some way. Like, there's a little like part in your heart that gets like, activated. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a good person.
Not being the shit talker guy. Dude, I think that's how a lot of producers actually also ruin their career in the early days. They're just talking shit online. I'm like, dude, it's a small industry, man. People know each other. People talk.
Yeah.
They will remember you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So watch what you say online.
Sucks. I hate seeing that
like,
shit.
Dude, you don't have to say something negative. Just there's plenty of opportunity where you could say something bad. Just shut your mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it really doesn't add that much.
Well, it's not. It's ultimately it's not going to get you where you want to go, and it's gonna make the road a really like shitty journey. It's like make friends. You know what I mean? Like you should just be your goal to be a good person and connect with other good people and make friends and collaborate. It's like, that's what it's all about. Like there's like this kind of false sense of competition, I feel like, in the music industry, where it's like there's no competition, it's all collaboration. No. It's all creativity and collaboration.
People are like sometimes scared to like shout out other people, you know, like plug them on their accounts. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Somebody could have our competitors could have all the Cymatics fans, and I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not competing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that, like, at the end of the day, like, if we just keep doing our shit, it doesn't matter. And I think sometimes, like, not doing enough of that helping, like, win-wins, like, I think it's huge, you know?
Yeah, there's more than enough to go around. There's an infinite amount of, like, abundance and just success for everybody to have, that there's not a limited supply of it.
People don't understand abundance and how bad you are when you're in scarcity.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're in such a, like, point of, like, so worried about stuff that you're not even attracting the right types of shit and the right opportunities or whatever it may be. Yeah. Because you even come off in a certain way when you are kind of in scarcity mode, you know? Mm-hmm. A lot of people are probably like, what the fuck are you guys talking about abundance and scarcity?
Big time. Yeah. So I've been life coaching for the last like almost 2 years now. Mm-hmm. And that's really so much of what it all boils down to. You know, it's like we talk about, you know, like, you set goals and like, what are the things that you want to have? And what are the things you need to do to get there, to have those? And that's usually the extent of the conversation, or the extent of like the thought process for most people. What do I need to do in order to have what I want to have? But there's this whole other part that's the foundation of all of it, is like, well, who do I need to be? What do I need to be, right? Like, what are the characteristics that I need to demonstrate? What's the mentality that I need to have? And like focusing a lot on that is it changes the game. You know, it's like, how do I step out of a, you know, like being able to identify myself in a scarcity mindset? How do I get out of that? Right? How do I need to start being? I need to start being in an abundance mindset. I need to be, you know, confident and inspired and creative and all of these things. Well, if I can focus on being those, then I'm going to do all the shit I need to do to have the things I want to have. Otherwise, it's a really fucking ugly mess.
Dude, 100%. Cool. So, we're about to, what are we running at, Alex?
Just over an hour.
Perfect. So we do this other thing where I want to rapid fire some questions from the Cymatics community.
Okay, cool.
A shit ton now.
Yeah.
And I want to boil down like some like kind of like a lightning round of like quick answers that you think are like I'm going to ask you questions about like keys to success for producers, like the best piece of advice that might coming up, like how could they, you know, get started with their career, and what are you seeing like that new producers could do now that you're seeing, you know, your graduates from Icon doing. But what we do is we actually do this on the audio only.
Okay.
So that means that everybody watching on YouTube, you gotta get over to Spotify and all that, and helps move our traffic around. See what I'm saying? Because people are gonna be like, fuck, I don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But first thing we like to do is a hard plug. Whether it be Icon, yourself, all the stuff you have going on. Yeah. What do you want the Cymatics community to?
For sure. Kind of here's the big plug. This will actually be the first time that I don't even know if I'm allowed to announce this, but I'm going to anyway. So here's the big unveil. We're actually launching 2 new programs at Icon. Mm-hmm. We're launching a music business program. So just for people that want to work in the music business, right? Tour managers, publishers, like if you want to work in the business, this program is going to like teach you all about it and really prepare you for it. So that's super exciting. And also a vocal program. So for all you singers out there, all the vocalists out there, there's going to be a Icon Collective vocal program coming. I'm not sure when, next summer perhaps. It's all in development, but so that's a big exciting kind of thing for us. But yeah, I mean, check out Icon Collective. I'm Nick Cherwink. Look me up, say what's up, connect, reach out. Feel free to add me, and always down to continue the conversation.
You gotta get me come teach a class at the business.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, we have
Cymatics Growth Hacks 101.
I book Q&As like every week.
Oh really?
So next time you're in LA, let's arrange that.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome. I want to go to there because it's like, dude, so many people even use our shit that went to Icon. And stuff.
Everybody. Yeah.
No, it's kind of. It's crazy for me. I love meeting people in person just because everything's so online that like when I get to meet fans, customers, all that shit, people, I'm like, sweet.
For sure.
Thanks for the support. Yeah. Cool. And guys, we're going to go ahead and do the giveaway. We're giving away 5 $100 Cymatics gift cards. All you have to do is drop a comment on the YouTube about what your favorite part of this show was, and make sure you timestamp it. Definitely helps us out. But other than that, here goes the audio.